Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back. It's been a while. I haven't made a YouTube video in like a year or something. It's been a long time. I disappear and I reappear like a magician. Ooh. I just recently, well, my family and I have recently just moved into a new home, so that's a part of why I've been very silent and I haven't been very active. I want to make big edited videos again, and my cat's right here. Say hello, Chili. She just jumped in my lap. She's right here. Yeah, get a better look at her. But she keeps purring. I was gonna say I want to make big edit videos again. I have a birthday coming up, and the reason why that's relevant to the video is because I need to get a new desk, and I'm going to be getting a new desk around that time. So once I have that desk set up, I can have my computer set up, and I can finally get back into making videos. And there's a personal project I'm doing for some friends that I really want to get around to doing again. And if any of you guys out there are watching it, I think you might have an idea what I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm ever going to make that personal project public or not for reasons, but I digress. So, let's just say it has to do with Dragon Ball. It has to do with Dragon Ball, and that's all I'm going to say about that. For now, if ever. Okay, so, you read the video, wherever the heck it's at, pointing around with my finger here. Sorry, it's like the camera's vertical and it's on my phone once again, right? I kind of hate making videos like this, I really do. But I do want to make like a video with images and video with footage from One Piece related imagery, but oh well, this is the best I got for right now. And I really want to talk about this because I made a video about this before, and I was like, I don't know about this one, Chief, and I watched it and I was like, okay, it was you won me over, Netflix and everything. And I know a lot behind this project. I know it wasn't just Netflix that made the show. I know a lot of love went into it. I know actual fans worked on it. I know all that stuff, and that's fantastic. I've been following this One Piece project like a freaking hawk. Okay, I've been watching videos, interviews, images like an eagle. Okay, I've been following this thing like crazy. Whenever it popped up, it was relevant. But right from the get go, I did like the cast of the Straw Hat Pirates when they're first shown in interviews, and I was like, okay, this is a good omen and everything. It's a good sign, but I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. But I like the way these kids feel. They're not really kids. They're like my age. Well, I'm not really a kid either. I mean, I have kids for crying out loud. But my point is that they felt like kids. They felt like that they were like the actual Straw Hat Pirates and everything, and I love that. So yeah, I finished the One Piece Netflix show, and I want to go over a lot of different key points. I want to go over 10 different like topics here. Okay, the acting, the liberties, the story changing, the soundtrack, the camera work, some of the dialogue changes, the costume designs. There's a lot of stuff I want to try to remember to talk about. Moments I liked and moments I didn't like, so nitpicks and whatnot, or actual criticisms. Yeah, like I said, I made a video about this before on my YouTube channel, and I was very nervous. I was like, why the hell are we even having this? And I wonder whose idea it was. I don't fully know if it was Oda's or not. But people who worked on the Marvel movies obviously worked on this, and that's okay. So you got this. Oh, it's special effects. That was another one I want to bring up. So yeah, for the most part, the special effects were good, but there's still. So I'm just readjusting where I'm sitting. There's still more I want to say. Well, there's a lot more I want to say. Yeah, I don't know where to start. I generally liked it, but I don't 100% know how to feel about it yet. And I think I speak for everyone who have experienced the show, or are going to experience the show. Maybe because some people out there were like, "Oh no, Some people out there may not agree with this. That's okay. We're all individuals, right? No one has to agree with everything everybody says and does. But I think I speak for maybe mostly everybody who got into this show. I was not a fan of all the story changes. They cut out a lot of iconic moments from the original, which is like, oh, okay. But it did make sense. It did for the narrative. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna get into it. Spoilers, by the way. I should have said that from the beginning. So if you don't care about spoilers and you haven't seen it yet, keep watching. If you're a hardcore One Piece fan like me, then all right, keep watching. And if you haven't seen the Netflix show yet, keep watching because you can trust my word. If you've read the manga or watched me or both or whatever the hell, and you haven't seen this yet, and you're nervous to see it, okay, trust my word. And that's all I gotta say about that. I've only watched the original anime. I've been a fan of One Piece since 2010. It was instantly my favorite fucking thing of all time. The second I saw episode one, the first frame, the first bam, I was into it. The first animation, everything. I did watch the 4Kids dub as a kid, not knowing any better, but I barely saw much of it. And now I got back. I like, okay, yeah. After really being into and loving the hell out of Dragon Ball, which I'm wearing a Dragon Ball shirt right now, I'm just like, yes, I love Dragon Ball, and I know One Piece is inspired by that, so I'm gonna check this out, and I loved it instantly. Bam! Instantly, I fell in love with it. One Piece is truly a beautiful work of art. It is. I've been watching this anime since 2010, okay, and I'm just now in the Fishman Island arc. I know I'm a slow ass boy. I know. And I'm watching it dubbed. I know. I do watch One Piece subbed at times. I've seen movies and clips and full episodes subbed, and I've read the manga. I've read bits and pieces. And when it comes to the dub and the sub and the manga, it all virtually feels great. Just enjoying it. I think they're all on par. They're all like the same level of like hype. Maybe the dub is like a little bit weaker, just but by well the original anime too, just by a smidge. Like it's overall like a generally great themed experience. Even the Netflix show comes really close, but I would say this is the weakest adaptation of One Piece that we have so far. But that doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean it's terrible. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong to watch or to enjoy. It's still an amazingly good show. So even the weakest adaptation of One Piece, right, is amazing. Okay, so that's a good sign. Don't worry. I just started the video. Well, we're 7 minutes in now. But the point is that One Piece is not, the Netflix One Piece show is not bad or anything, but it is kind of weak, but it does have it still has strong moments, okay? I'm just talking about like level of par in like hype and height and like what's amazing and everything and like, whatever. I'm just talking about in terms of like the best of the best in terms of quality, I guess. I don't know. This Netflix show still has a lot of quality and it has its own quality in its own way too, which does work. Even though if I may not be the biggest fan of everything that they decided. So I gotta talk about that. So yeah, we're there. I'm gonna get into a lot of it. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Whoa, random location change. I know. Sorry, I'm in my basement with my dogs right now. Kind of. Well, I am, but there's this lawn mowing service that my parents hired that are here right now. So it's annoying, but anyways, if you hear that, that's what that is in the background. So let me continue with my points. Okay. So yes, I love One Piece. Well, that's Dragon Ball. Over here, I have the 27 collection sets. Right here, I have these first two all the way back in 2010. I got or 2010 or 2011, I think, with volume collection 2 here. But yeah, I bought this at Best Buy years ago, or my dad did. He was there with me at the time, and I asked him for it. He's like, yeah, sure, and that's how I got into it. And I love the series. I own some of the movies, the ones that we got released in North America at least. The ones that Funimation officially did. Where's my Blu-rays? Oh, here they are. Yeah, right here. This is this is like my new favorite movie of all time. Pretty much. But yeah, I love it. This is also a really good starting point. If you want like a shortened version of the first like 50 episodes of One Piece, episode of East Blue is fantastic. This is an episode special of the beginning of the story, and it's somewhat better. I don't know if I want to say it's better than the Netflix show. I think it's about equal. I would say it's equal. I'm sorry, it's equal. It's equal to the same quality of. I would say that. And I don't want to say the Netflix show is bad because it's shorter. And I'm going all over the place, aren't I? Oh boy, because this video is supposed to be for people who haven't seen the show yet. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm just gonna go all over the place. If you've seen it, then you'll get it. If you haven't seen it yet, try to keep up, and I will try to do things coherently and have things make sense from left to right. Okay, so yes, I'm a big fan of the series. I know, even if I just made up the Fishman Island arc, I know what happens after that. I've seen Gear 5. Who could possibly avoid that? It's been fucking everywhere. I know all about Vegapunk. Well, I know a lot about Vegapunk. I know a lot about that stuff. I know about Wano. I don't know anything else really between Wano and Fishman Island though. I don't know. I know about the fight with Sanji and Luffy. I know about that big moment. There's a lot about One Piece in the story that I do personally know about past where I am in the series. Okay, so I'm not completely blind to it. You know what I mean? I purposefully have avoided the series at times. Nothing against the story itself. It's not like that. It's just I've had breaks because it is long, and I like to feel satisfied after a story arc is done. So I like to go on hiatuses after I finish certain story arcs in One Piece because I'm like, okay, that was satisfying. That was a good way to end it for now. I'll come back to it later. So I purposefully avoided One Piece at times in that kind of way. Not in a shitty, not in a way that's like shitty or that comes off as like, oh, I fucking hate this series or anything like that. No, I'm just like, I need a break because I do sometimes, and that's okay. It's a long ass series. I have yet to meet somebody else who's in the same situation I am with the series. Like, I have never met, but everybody who I've met, right? I work at a video game store, and I usually meet a lot of anime fans, and I usually people who I meet who say, "Oh, I love One Piece. I got into it." Have started it in as early as 2020, COVID time, right? When they got into it around that time. They got into that, and they're but I've been watching it, reading it for about a month or two, about a year or two, 3 years, 4 years. I'm like, what the fuck? I've been into this series since 2010. I haven't even got up yet. What the fuck with these people? But this one dude who I met, which just really surprised me. I haven't met anybody like this ever since. Said he has been a fan of One Piece since the year of 2000. 2000. He's been reading the manga ever since. This was here in little old Michigan too, North America. He said specifically he's been reading the manga this whole time. That's awesome and dedication. I have yet to meet another legendary fan like that. That's what I call a legendary fan, right there. Not quite as legendary as me, but that beats 2010 by a good 10 years. So but it doesn't matter when you get into it or anything. If you love it, that's great. If you don't, that's okay too. It's not gonna be for everybody. That's fine. That's okay. But I want to really focus on the Netflix show and how I felt about it. So, okay. The first topic I want to cover is the acting. Okay? So again, this is going to be spoilers, and I don't want these points to... If you haven't experienced the show yet, and what I tell you right now is going to sound disappointing, I ask of you to please just keep watching, because I have tons to say, good and bad. It's going to be all over the place. I don't know how you're going to feel about it. You can just wait till the very end of my long-ass video to see how you really feel. The acting itself in this Netflix adaptation of One Piece was really good. It's up par. It gets the job done. Okay, but that's about it for the main characters. Okay, so when it comes to Straw Hat Pirates, the kids. Well, actually, I think it's specifically them. That's my dog itching herself. They need acting classes. I'm sorry. I loved them. They were great casting choices. And I don't give a crap what anybody says about Inaki Godoy. The thing about Inaki, and he's the only name I can't remember right now, but Inaki Godoy genuinely feels like Luffy. This feels like Luffy as a real-life human being. This is him. I don't give a rat's ass what any negative-ass person out there has to say about it, because I've seen a lot of shit online about this kid, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? This is literally Luffy. This is literally Luffy. This is him. He's right here. But if you disagree, that's okay. If you don't feel like this is Luffy, that's okay. But to me, that's just a little shocking. I'm like, what the fuck? He feels like Luffy. He feels like Luffy. I don't know how else to say it. But he has potential to do a way better job in season 2. He did pretty good here, but he has potential to go from here to here. His energy. Luffy in the original has a lot of fucking energy. He yells a lot, he screams a lot, he fights a lot, he expresses himself a lot, and that is the expressiveness, the joy, the power, the aura, the spirit of Luffy is definitely here. But but there's times where it's like that could have been a little bit more stronger. That could have been a little bit more. This moment could have had more gusto, especially the climax with Arlong. And there's more I need to say about that later. But yeah, it was awesome. He was great. He did fantastic. He did. He won me over almost instantly. But here's the thing about the Netflix show, and this isn't anything against Inaki Godoy. And his name is literally Inaki. What does that sound like to you? For you diehard One Piece fans out there who know the franchise, who know the series, who knows the story all the way up till now, who knows about everything about Luffy and the other characters. You cannot deny the fucking fact that name sounds really familiar to Luffy himself. I know it's not the exact same spelling, but that name literally is Nika Joy Boy. That's literally who we have playing Luffy. Inaki Godoy sounds literally like Nika. See, I almost fucked it up because it sounds so similar. Nika Joy Boy, Inaki Godoy, Nika Joy Boy. It rhymes. It's right fucking there. Of course, it's meant to be. Like, what the fuck? Inaki Godoy, Nika Joy Boy. It sounds so similar. This is Monkey D. Luffy. This is him. Monkey D. Luffy, the man himself, King of the Pirates, right here in the real world. It's him. Stop saying he should be recasted. Stop saying it should be a new actor. I don't want to fucking hear it. It's bullshit. This kid is meant to play Luffy. It is him. He is Luffy. Like it or not. You know what? I don't give a fuck. Ichiro Oda himself knows better. I don't need to fucking listen to these fucking wieners about it. Like, no. Like, Oda himself is just like, yeah. You're Luffy. You feel like Luffy. That's that. Doesn't give a fuck what you think. The creator says what he said, and I fully trusted him here. Usually when it comes to certain projects, like with Dragon Ball and Star Wars, I don't always 100% trust what the creator wants, but when it comes to One Piece, I think I do. At least 95%. When it comes to Toriyama, I like 90 to 95% trust him too, so, okay. Well, maybe with the same thing with Lucas. I think Lucas honestly just needed help with certain things, but we're not talking about Star Wars. I'm getting sidetracked, or Dragon Ball. We're supposed to be focusing on One Piece. Sorry. So, I'm just a big old nerd for a lot of things. So, with Inaki Godoy's Luffy and the other actors, they're doing great. But I feel like they need, maybe aside from Sanji, and maybe even Usopp, I think Sanji and Usopp did the best. I think they were the best of the show. But even Usopp had a moment where just like the part when Kokiyashi Village was on fire, he gets up, he's just like, what's going on over there? That definitely felt like he was just acting. And what I'm trying to say is that the acting for the Straw Hat Pirate kids, the crew members, was not 100% natural. It definitely felt like these were actors you were watching on a show, but at the same time, they still felt like the actual characters. I felt like you're watching the characters in live action, but it felt like they were still. It's not like, oh, I feel like I'm watching an actor playing Usopp or Luffy. No, it's like, okay, I'm watching Usopp, Luffy, and Zoro trying to act on camera. That's what it's like. That's exactly what it felt like. It's weird, right? Like, if they feel like the characters, but it feels like if the characters were trying to act on camera. What other live action adaptation or franchise can you think of where it feels like that? It's like, yeah, these definitely feel like the characters, but like the acting just isn't quite there. So they just definitely need some more coaching and help for season 2. That's really one of the only few complaints I can say overall that I actually think should happen. And another big one, kind of for me personally, was the music changes. The music changes were fine. It's okay to have a new score, and I loved it. I think it was a great score, but you cut out a lot of iconic songs from the original anime, and that personally bothered me. I'm not saying that like it's Overtaken or Journey to the Grand Line or what was it called? I don't remember every single song from the original score. I think it's called Dangerous or In Danger or whatever. It should play in every single episode. Or but I think there should be certain iconic moments when you play at least once. At least one time, you should play that original song. Didn't it fucking happen? We are the main theme for the original, but it was orchestrated and it was awesome. It was great. Don't get me wrong. It was, hearing the main theme as an orchestra song is great. It's great. It's fantastic. I love that shit. But we should have had more. But we didn't. And that's a bummer. And I'm not trying to shit on the composers. I'm not trying to shit on... I'm sorry to those people who put in the work. I'm not trying to crap on you. You did fantastic. I love the score to the Netflix show. I wouldn't change the score itself. I just wish you could have had the original as well. You could have done your own take on the original song. That would have been awesome to hear. It would have been awesome to hear, Overtaken play with new notes, with a new grand orchestra. My cat's back. That would have been fucking great. But that did not happen. Especially during the walk scene. And you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about when I say the walk scene. You know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. With All-On Park? Okay, that's another thing. Iconic scenes were cut out. Iconic, not necessarily iconic characters, but characters that you may have loved the original were not there. That is a real darn shame. So, yeah, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. It's really hard to describe, to people who haven't seen it yet, how to, I don't want to drive you away from the show, and I probably am. But even if you should still check it out and give it a shot for yourself. But there's something very important I should say about that right now, probably. I did not like episode 1. I did not like episode 1, but I did not hate it. Saying I did not like something and I hate something are kind of completely different. Completely different. I do not hate it. I did not hate episode 1, but I was very mixed. I was very 50-50 about it. Right from the get-go, this show tells you this is a new thing. This is an adaptation, and there's going to be story beat changes that are just going to be different. Like it or not, it's going to be there. And I personally, at first, did not like that. I'm still not very happy with how episode 1 was done, but I may watch it again later in Japanese. But I will say this about episode 1, one humongous positive about episode 1 is that Zoro had a great character entrance, and he practically stole the first episode. He was great in it. Luffy was still great too, and so was Nami, but Zoro really shined in episode 1, in my opinion. That is a huge advantage of episode 1. So if you're a Zoro fan and you like the actor who plays him and everything, and you have a good feeling about him, I did, but I didn't know anything about this actor, but people love him anyways. He did great in episode 1. He did fantastic. He did. So I will say that. If you don't remember, there's certain. Now remember, this is the East Blue Saga, so some people out there watching this may not remember all these characters, but there's Axe Hand Morgan. He was the big villain character when Luffy met Zoro. Axe Hand Morgan gets a lot of screen time in episode 1 and even debatably in 2. He does not get arrested like he did in the original so far. At least I don't think he did. And Colby, Luffy's Marine friend with the purple hair and the glasses. I'm hoping you remember him. Does not have big character moments like he did in the original. He does have some of them. Some of them are still there. But he doesn't really stand up to Alvida. He doesn't have that scuffle, that fight with Luffy like he did in the original. That's all cut out. Zoro, and Nami all fight the Marines together at when Luffy rescues Zoro, and that's kind of awesome when you watch it in action and it happens, but that's not what happens in the original, right? So that's a little upsetting. But again, like I told you, this show tells you from the very beginning, this is an adaptation and there's going to be differences. The differences and the changes are not bad, but that doesn't mean that you have to like them, right? See, I didn't even like all those changes. I didn't. But they weren't really a bad change. It's unique. It is, and it's kind of interesting, but I don't like it. Does that mean it's bad? No, it's not bad. It's just I just don't like it. It's not horrible. That's all there is to it. But at the same time, I'm somewhat okay with it because it's like, all right, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. So there's that to think about. Then there's let me think. I loved every single down to earth moments with Luffy and whoever he was talking to, whether it's Colby or Zoro or Usopp or the Straw Hats. Every single down to earth moment in this show with Luffy, like a heart to heart moment he was having with another character, was fantastic. It felt very human. It felt very real. It felt like I'm telling you, Inaki Godoy is just naturally real life Luffy. It literally speaking, he just is, and he was so perfect in those scenes. He was, and same thing with moments when Zoro and Nami were talking to each other at the Brate. That was a great moment too. Like little moments like that were just perfect. I loved them. The actor who played Sanji did a fantastic job. He went above and beyond for his role. He took actual kickboxing classes. He took state of the art culinary classes. I think he took acting classes. Like legit, he was really good. Like he did a great job with the acting. Sanji was great. I think he's actually French too, so that's awesome. Usopp was fucking perfect too. Usopp and Sanji were fucking perfect. They just were. Zoro and Nami came really damn close. They practically hit the mark. They're like 90% them, but that little 10% is still there. It's like, fuck. For one, Zoro, I know he's not the most expressive character, right? But in the original manga and anime, he has those moments of expression. He still laughs. He still has those big face moments. There's generally hilarious moments with Zoro in the original that just are not there in this one. He's very, very serious. He's more so serious in this one. But he does have wisecracks. Like he does tell jokes that are generally funny at times, and he's still very smart. He's still very he's still very intelligent. He still picks up on things. He still questions things. He's still himself. He loves to drink. He loves to sleep. but he's less of a pirate at first and more, which makes this okay. That actually makes absolute fucking sense. I didn't feel like Zoro was actually like a pirate until like the last episode, but that makes sense because like yeah, he should feel like a swordsman at first. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. Like what I'm trying to say is that Zoro in this adaptation from the beginning for the first at least to me 6 to 7 episodes felt more like a swordsman than he did a pirate swordsman or a pirate in general. He doesn't really feel like a pirate until the big fight with the fishman. To me, that's how it felt. And there's nothing, absolutely fucking nothing wrong with that. That's okay. You know what I mean? This is a new version of the character with a new version of the story. Adaptations are going to do things like that. It's kind of like one of my favorite ways to like compare like if something is good or bad to like something else that's good or bad, or to two things that are good but are like completely different. One thing I like to like to simplify for people, it's kind of like if you watched The Dark Knight and you're like that's a great movie, and you read the Batman comics, like the original ones or like some of the older ones, and you're like this is a great comics, but the stories are completely different. The stories are different. There's changes, there's liberties with the adaptations, but the characters feel very similar. That's exactly what this is like. But with One Piece's narrative, it's generally the same exact thing. But then there's one big change to this to the Netflix show. One humongous glaring one. That's not bad. It's not a bad change, but it's very weird that's there. That the original anime and manga definitely did not have. Garp chasing Luffy. That was a very interesting change. But it worked. And it made sense to his character. But this version of Garp, it's going to be interesting to see him at the Marineford arc, because people give Garp a really fucking hard time for what happened with Ace. And I, for one, kind of agree with them. I do agree that Garp should have helped more with Ace. He should have. But it's so shit that he didn't. I agree. I do. But, it makes sense to, in a way, for the original narrative to have that happen. And to me, I love Ace. Ace is like, he was generally my favorite character when I first met him. Even so is Vivi. I love Vivi, Ace, Shanks, Luffy, Roger, Whitebeard. Those are probably my Zoro, of course. Those are like my top 10-ish favorite One Piece characters. I really like and Usopp. How can I forget my boy? I love Usopp. Usopp and Luffy are buddies for life, and I love that. And they definitely had that chemistry in this. But Zoro and Luffy are bros for life. They're like do or die for each other, and that was here too. But I feel like some of the friendship development moments got kind of like rushed or skipped. And another live action adaptation that kind of did that, but it still played off pretty well, or it's the thing still worked out okay in the story, was Sonic Movie 2. When Tails and Sonic meet each other, we don't really get like a moment with them. We do a little bit at the place they're at in the Arctic area, like the fucking what was it? That like, oh god, what's the word for it? It's not really a restaurant, but it was basically a restaurant, but like the lounge. I think it was just basically like a lounge area. Yeah, no, they had a little moment for sure, but there wasn't really more of that there in the movie. This Netflix show kind of does that with the characters, like Zoro and Nami are like, we don't really want to be a part of this at all, and then they're like, oh no, wait, hold on, actually, we're your best friends now. We absolutely love you. It's kind of like, where was the moment where they decided that? It just kind of happens, and it works. It does, and they do have maybe the moment was there, and I just kind of missed it. But like it is what it is though with that, and that's fine, I guess, but also not really, because it's like, but you really, because the original is iconic for focusing moments like those. But you gotta love that. I love the part in episode 2, right, when I forgot Buggy's swordsman character, of the Buggy Pirates, when he's like, "Do we believe in this kid that much?" And Zoro's like, "No, but I don't have to. He believes in himself, and that's all that matters." I love that, and I think that's like a moment when Zoro's realizing this kid is not all that bad, and yeah. So that's kind of awesome. It is. Yeah. One huge positive about the Netflix adaptation. It's a good thing. It's positive. So hopefully it don't drive you away. They get all the backstories right. All of the backstories are done really, really, really well. But how in the world are they going to do Luffy's? I forgot her name, but the foster mother character later on. I wonder how she's going to be adapted. I wonder if they're even going to get that far. And I think that's a part of why maybe the acting felt subpar for the Straw Hat Kids. All the adult actors gave it their A game to me. I thought Garp was great. Mihawk was the best part of this fucking show, and you cannot deny it. He is literally the exact same character from the original anime and manga brought into live action. Mihawk and Captain Kudo, were the best parts of the show. They were both amazing, absolutely amazing. So was Sanji and so was Usopp. Don't get me wrong, but Mihawk and Captain Kudo were fantastic characters. But it was very weird. Yeah, again, this is an adaptation. Garp tells Mihawk to hunt down Luffy, and instead, in the original, it was Don Creed that caused all that. But I absolutely fucking loved that moment with Don Creed in this, and not everybody's gonna love that. But I thought it was absolutely awesome and hilarious. That was so awesome and hilarious, and I think that's something that Oda probably decided that when the Don Creed had a cameo for sure. He was in the show, and I was like, oh shit, they remembered him. All right, he's gonna show up at the Baratier. No, Mihawk's like, fuck you, like immediately. That was so. I loved that, and I was like, that's kind of awesome. But what about like the most important part of Don Creed showing up was Geen. I remember him for sure in his right hand man. I'm like, he probably got cut then. No, he shows up. They didn't cut him. But he's only there for a moment. I thought he was going to have a payoff for showing up. Not really. He didn't. And I think he shows up in the Wano arc. So maybe Oda has plans for the actor returning later on in a Netflix show. I feel like a lot of characters that are supposed that do come back way later in the manga, but at the end of it for sure, got cut. Or characters that weren't really important to the overall story arc got cut. So like most of the animal characters got cut. The Usopp pirate kids got cut. Pretty much all of the Black Cat pirates got cut. All these characters hit the cutting room floor. It's kind of just like, oh well. What the fuck? Oh, we teleported again, right? But sorry, I know it's stupid, but I just gotta touch my phone and. The company the people that were here earlier are gone now. But anyways, or the lawnmower people are. Okay, let me focus again with what I'm saying. So again, this is an adaptation. So I wasn't fully comfortable with all the changes. No, I wasn't. But it doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that you can't give second chance. This is all going off my first impression of the show. I've only seen it once so far. So I'm pretty sure if I watch it again, either in Japanese or English, whatever, I might enjoy what they did for the changes. I don't know. And yeah, this one really, really sucked. They cut out some iconic stuff. They cut out the music, but all the Shanks and Luffy stuff was still great. Like that was awesome. Like Shanks was great in the show. He was. So was Garp, so was Mihawk. They were all fantastic. Kuro was great. Axiom Morgan was good, but they spent a lot of screen time on him. Alvida was fine. Buggy. Fucking Buggy. I liked him, but not at first. So when we first saw Buggy, when he first showed up on the camera, I was like, he kind of feels like a knockoff Joker, like a Joker has been. And then when Luffy says the word nose, but it's obviously the KNOWS version of the word, and Buggy flips out, and I'm like, that, I get what you're doing, show. I understand this, okay? Yes, Buggy is sensitive about his nose. That's true to the character, but that was a really strange way to write it that way. It felt kind of like, what the fuck? And a little off and cringy. I'm sorry, but it did. I feel like they could have shown that moment in very differently. Maybe Buggy's maybe Luffy should have just been hey man, I like your nose, and then he flips the fuck out. He's like, don't mention my nose and shit. That would have made sense. But no, that's not how they wrote it. They wrote it Luffy's he's like, hey, he mentions his wanted poster, I think. I can't remember exactly what Luffy says to him. But he when he says nose, it's as if I know that person, or I know you. But with an S at the end. So he said, I forgot what the exact sentence was, but it's whatever. Right? It was so weird that happened though in the show. It was Buggy would flip up his nose, but not like that. I don't know. Or at least not over that word. He would know better, I feel like. Or he would understand what Luffy was saying. They made it look like they made it look like Buggy didn't understand him. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Maybe Buggy purposefully flipped out at Luffy, like, you know, don't know he's a psycho, but he wasn't really like sensitive about his nose in the moment. He just was showing that he can be. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Okay, I have no idea. So it just was a weird moment. I was like, I don't think I like that at all. No, but then I kept watching episode 2, and I was like, okay, I love this. I love this. This is awesome. Episode 2 won me over. Episode 2, I'm like, this feels like an actual live action magical pirate adventure, as it should, with like, and it's great, and I'm loving it. It won me over. And the only two Straw Hat Pirates that really bothered me, obviously, were Nami and Zoro. They were too moody for me at first, but when we got to the Kokiyashi Village stuff, you know, they transitioned more to themselves. And I love the part when Luffy defeated Arlong and all four of them laugh. I absolutely loved that. That was perfect writing. That was perfect delivery. That felt like One Piece. I was smiling. My heart, yeah, that was so good. That was so good. That was a great little moment. I absolutely loved that. That was perfect. And I'm like, this feels like I'm watching the characters 100%. In this moment, this little, the 30-second moment is like, this is them. 100%. This is the characters in their element right there. That moment. Beautiful. Perfect. I fucking loved it. Oh, yeah. It was so weird that Zoro was in a coma for so long. Like, what the hell? But, like, I feel like they made the characters a little bit more weaker than they were in the original, but at the same time, like, no, I don't know if that's fully true, because they kind of feel the same. Maybe he was in a long-ass coma after Mihawk. I think, he kind of was the original. I think so. I think he definitely rested for a bit, I think. I can't remember, but it wasn't as, I think in this version, it was only for, like, half a day or to, like, a day he slept or something. I don't know. The scene when Arlong rips off his bandages, and he's just like, "Am I fighting a wounded man?" That's all cut from this version. The violence of the fight between Luffy and Arlong, the parts where Arlong bites Luffy and Luffy's bleeding like fucking crazy, all of that's cut from here. But they kept it focused. They kept the point to like what was happening still there. Luffy destroys Arlong Park. It was epic. It was all very good. But I feel like that fight could have been more intense. It could have been more gritty. It could have been more like violent. It should have been more stronger. But it was still really good for what we got. It was. And this is what I mean. Like, Inaki Godoy, man, those moments, I'm just like, this kid is Luffy. He's doing great here, but he has potential to do a lot better than with what he's given. I don't think it's fully his fault. I think maybe it is. Or maybe you have to also remember, when it comes to actors, you have to remember there's also an acting director. So, they're all going off of what the acting director says is fine and not at the same time. You have to remember that. So, yeah, like I said, there's potential for this to be a lot better than it already is. It's still really good. Like I said from the beginning of this video, this is the weakest adaptation of One Piece, but even so, it is fucking good. It's still watchable. It's still fantastic. It's the best live-action adaptation of something ever, probably. I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure how true that is. But people have been saying it, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe. I kind of agree. Okay, so that's pretty much all I gotta say about that stuff, I think. I thought the acting was mostly good, except for the kids. They need classes. I haven't got a chance to really talk about the special effects yet, the lighting. I thought the special effects were mostly good. You can definitely tell the parts where the budget was there. I didn't think any of them were really bad. I did kind of touch on it earlier because of I said the ass, right. They have people who worked at Marvel work on this, and I forgot the guy that directed it. He is a big fan of the manga for sure in Marvel, and I didn't know that the other cast members were in anime and stuff. I actually found that out today. I'm like, that's cool. And Inaki Godoy was like, I don't know if he was too into One Piece before this, but I saw his videos and I saw that he got like really into it. I'm like, this kid, man. I'm telling you, I've been saying this. This kid is Luffy. Like, I don't care what anybody else says. He's literally the real life Luffy. And would I personally recast anybody? I'm not sure. I didn't like Garp's actor at first. I was like, this guy doesn't feel like Garp. But when he started laughing, I was like, no, this works. This is definitely Garp. Okay, yeah, all right, all right then. And I thought the actor that played Roger was really good. Yeah, everybody was great. So, okay, the lighting, and for the most part, it's fine. What I specifically am referring to is that the show is filmed a lot at night. It's 50-50. It's like day and night scenes equally spread out. The original anime, was mostly animated and during daylight, right? And there's a lot of scenes underwater too, and there's a lot of scenes, and there are scenes at night, but the lighting was a lot better. You can actually see what's happening. I felt like it was hard to see what was really happening in some scenes, and that's fine, but that's just a personal issue. That was really anything against the show, but they film a lot of like peak important moments at night too, when you really want to pay attention to what's going on. So it's kind of just like, oh well, I can't really fucking see what's happening here. But again, that's just a personal thing. If you watch the show with the lights off, you'll be fine for the most part. But at the same time, it was just kind of hard to see the show. It really was. But that was just a personal issue. I'm not sure if that's really a criticism or not. That might be more of a nitpick thing. But yeah, overall, I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I forgot. I was like, I'm hoping we get a character tease, and we did. We did get a character tease, but not the character I wanted it to be. I was hoping we should have had several. We got one. We should have had like 3 or 4 of them. That's kind of frustrating, I know. But I forgot about this for the story adaptation changes. How earlier I said they completely cut out Don Creed. So Arlong and meets the Straw Hats at the Baratier. That did not happen in the original, which I prefer. When it comes to the Netflix adaptation in the original, I think it's pretty obvious for me, and I'm pretty sure for most of the fans out there that we'd all probably prefer the original. Unless if it's like, oh, this isn't grabbing me, I prefer the Netflix show. That's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? If you prefer the Netflix show over the original, it's fine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when it comes to that's okay. But for me personally, I will always love the original more. So that was a weird change. I love in the original that Luffy had no idea who Arlong was. He just breaks into the park. He's like, now which one of you is Arlong? I'm gonna kick some asses. I absolutely love that. But in this, he fights him at the Bride. He loses, and then he fights him again. He's like, this time I'm really gonna get you. That was still pretty cool though. That was still really good writing. I was like, all right, yeah, this is fine, okay. But it was a little awkward at first, but it was like, okay, it played out fine. It did. And the whole Garp chasing Luffy thing. So after Luffy defeats Arlong, the Marines show up at Kokiyashi Village while they're in the middle of celebrating. Oh, I forgot about Gonzo, I think his name. I forgot his name, but I think it's Gonzo. He doesn't have his pinwheel. That was important to the original. It was somewhat important. It was important for Nami. And he doesn't have it. And she gets the tattoo and he still has the pinwheel with the tangerine. You're like, well, what the hell is the point of the pinwheel now? Like, it's like, what? Like, the newcomer's not going to really get that. And that kind of frustrates me. So, yeah, like I said, it's not for everyone. It's not going to be. And adaptations are going to take liberties, whether you like it or not. And that's definitely one that I was not 100% a fan of. They cut out things that are kind of small. But then they kept in things that, I don't know. They really, I feel like they cut out pretty much everything that felt like, kind of like that was small. And they're going to have a big play out. Like, they cut out Django. They cut out the Usopp Pirates. They cut out the animal characters, obviously, and that's really frustrating. And they cut out that one big dinner plate guy that was on Don Creed's. What was his name? The really big dude that Sanji fought. Don't you dare cut out Bon Clay, which I don't know. They can't do that. He is very significant. They're not going to cut out Bon Clay. We all know they're not going to. No, all of I think there's 6 of them. Numbers 1 through 4. No, I think it's numbers 1 through 4 or 5. The Baroque Works characters, or no, I think it's 0. Number 0 through 4. I can't remember what the numbers were, but yeah, all those characters are going to be significant. If season 2 is going to be the Alabasta Baroque Works stuff, you need more than 8 episodes for that. That's huge, and that's my favorite arc in the whole story. So hopefully they get it right. I hope so. But yeah, I'm very excited to see them do more. So, okay, I don't think I talked about the character reveal yet at the end. So, yeah, I want to... sorry this video is almost an hour long, but it is what it is. I'm almost done talking about it, though. So, at the end, when we finally got to the end of the show, it was Smoker. We got his character reveal. It was cool. I was like, oh, shit, Smoker's coming. That's awesome. But what about Robin? Robin should have had one. Ace. I think Ace should have had one. I think Ace should at least had a tease or something. I think we should have had something to tease Ace and Robin, but we just got we just got Smoker, and that's fine. I love Smoker. He's a great character, and he has a huge role at first with Baroque Works and Alabasta, a lot of stuff he does. So, and they're going to Logtown next. Yes, that's right. Did they go to Logtown before they hit the Grand Line? I think so. And we're gonna get to. I forgot about Laboon or Labu. The whale. We're gonna get to him. So I'm excited. And now, okay. So let me talk about that acting and my theories behind that. So a part of why I personally believe why the acting for the main Straw Hat Pirate kids was somewhat subpar was because maybe they were not 100% confident in the project, and or they just weren't used to doing these characters or something like that. But I no, I don't know, because at the place Zoro said he's a huge fan, and even he did pretty good though. Like I felt like I definitely felt like I was watching Zoro, but he felt like he was more so being his version of the character, which is fine in his own like self. That's fine. He did a good job. Like it's one of those rare moments where like yeah, you're taking your version of the character, but it still works. And it does. I mean, it doesn't always work, and sometimes it doesn't. This time, I feel like it did. Like I said earlier in the video, he felt more like a swordsman than a pirate, and that's fine. And everything, or rather than like a pirate swordsman. But yeah, like he was generally a good actor. It's just he just wasn't 100% Zoro in character. But he was 90% of the character, and that's good enough for now. So I'm hoping for season 2, maybe he lets loose a little bit, and we have moments where we can generally laugh with him, or being silly and stuff, and maybe Nami. I don't know. Nami was pretty much Nami. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And I don't know. I'm just hoping the acting is a little bit more natural and has a little bit more gusto in season 2. That's all I really hope for. Mostly for the main kids. Oh yeah, I forgot about the fight with Garp and Luffy at the end. That was fine. But when I was watching it this morning before I made this video, and I was generally going to skip it. I was like, I'm just going to skip to the end, which I did at first. And I went back and rewatched it because I know I still need to watch the whole thing. And I did because I wasn't really looking forward to that. I saw a clip of of the ending of the fight earlier on my phone. I loved that part, the part when like Garp is laughing and Luffy tells him this is what he wants to do. That was a good scene. But the whole thing with Garp being introduced early is kind of weird, and the whole thing with him fighting Luffy is also kind of weird. But it happened, and it still worked. It did. Don't get me wrong. It does work. This version of One Piece, this Netflix live action adaptation of the story works. It's generally a fine version of the story. It is for newcomers. It is a good way to consume the story in a quick version of it. You had the first 50 to 60 episodes or so cut down to only 8 hours of footage. That's impressive. It is. It is. It is. Because like each episode is like 25 minutes long. I did the math. That's like 100. That's like 1,400 minutes. You cut to 8 hours, it's like 400 minutes. So or something like that. So yeah, it's like or maybe it was like 14. I don't think it was 14,000 minutes, but it was a lot of. It was like brace. Yeah, it was pretty much the half of the amount of the original. I feel like, which is a good thing. It is. But I feel like season 2 is going to be big and long, and it should be. One Piece is a long story, so if you're liking this thing, brace yourself for more. Because oh my god, I forgot about Chopper. So I don't think season 2 is going to be all of Alabasta. I think it's going to be the first half of it, because Alabasta is a long fucking arc. It is huge. It goes on for a while. Yeah, and Vivi, she's practically a Straw Hat Pirate member. So and during that time. So yeah, they're gonna cut down a lot of stuff. I feel like, which is fine, But who knows if we're ever gonna get a season 2? And if we do get a season 2, I heard the production team is like, oh, Chopper's gonna be hard to do, but best of luck to them. They pulled off all along fine. Oh, they also did use practical effects, which is great. That's awesome. I feel like the special effects really worked because he had a good blend of CG and practical here. And usually when that kind of thing happens, it works out beautifully. So more of that, please, for season 2. That'd be great. Like the ships were all practical effects, and that's awesome. That's really, really cool. I'm still wanting season 2. I hope it gets greenlit. I want more of this, but like I wanted Spear to be a little bit more stronger. It has the same spirit as the original. It is there. I just felt like overall, as like the way it like delivers some scenes was kind of weak. And some things could be a little bit stronger than others, but some scenes were still fantastic and perfectly fine the way they were. Oh yeah, the big fight with Luffy and Koro wasn't really there. The original was so awesome when he fought him. It was really like violent and I loved it, but that wasn't really there in this one. Like the violence with like the big fights between the characters kind of got toned down. Like it's still a pretty violent show, but it's not as violent as the original. The original is way more like bloody. You're like, oh shit, there's a lot going on here. But no, it's because it was, it's a manga. Mangas get exaggerated, but it made it very awesome, right? The original was still very awesome for what it was. But for what we have, it's still pretty good. And it's still very natural. And I'm so happy that that we got the right idea. This adaptation got delivered the best way it could have. For the most part. I'm so happy that Oda was heavily involved. The dude practically directed it. He practically directed it. He did such a it turned out perfectly, and I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be happier. So, thank you Netflix and Oda for making a great thing, and thank you Oda for caring. That should which I know he definitely cares about One Piece. It's his baby. He made this franchise. Yes, of course he cares about it. He was hospitalized for it, for crying out loud. Okay, like that's how much he fucking cares about One Piece. It's crazy. Poor guy. But he's doing it to himself, so it is what it is. All right, guys. Peace out. Take care. Have a good one. Thank you for watching my hour-long video if you did. I hope I convinced you enough to check out the show. If not, I completely understand. It's fine. Keep doing your own thing. If you care for One Piece, then that's fantastic. If you don't, that's fine too. Why the hell are you watching this video? Get the fuck out of here. But that's fine if you don't care for it. But yeah, just enjoy. When it comes to One Piece, if you're enjoying any version of it, just keep enjoying it. If not, that's fine too. Have a good one. Take care. Peace out. And hoping for season 2. Bye-bye.